I'm just gonna keep it real. San Francisco real estate frankly sucks. San Francisco office sells for a stunning 90% discount from 2016 prices. And I'm not like a finance guy or a big math guy, but what I do know is a dollar back in 2016 is worth so much more than a dollar is now. The San Francisco office market is going through the biggest resets, not just in the Northern Hemisphere, but also the entire world. I mean, we all talk about how bad the Chinese real estate bubble is, or how bad the real estate is getting in Tokyo in some areas. But San Francisco is a whole new level when entire buildings are selling for 90% off in your downtown area. This is a 16-story building on Market Street, which is actually a place used to be filled with commerce. But now Market Street has a lot of people doing fentanyl. People passed out on the streets. There is human feces and urine on the floor. Robberies, crime of every matter is happening. This is San Francisco, and no wonder this building, despite being such an amazing building in such a great centralized location, sells for 90% off. This is a huge discount, and when you really look into the pricing, it was sold for $62 million back in 2016. And let me tell you guys, $62 million bucks in 2016 was a lot of money. I mean, now with all this inflation going on, a dollar isn't as worth as it was back in 10 years ago, especially with the crazy amount of money printing during the pandemic. So nearly a 90% plunge in price. And here you have it, good old San Francisco, where nobody wants their office space. And frankly, I'm surprised that somebody even spent $6.5 million on a size like this. Now, compared to a high-end real estate market like Singapore, where prices are good and companies are there and low crime and all that great stuff, $6.5 million in Singapore's downtown gets you like a shop house. It's like 3 stories tall. It's like a little townhouse. You could have a little cafe on the first floor and then apartments and offices on the second and third floor. Like 4,000, maybe 4,300 square feet most. That is what you get in Singapore for $6.5 million. For $6.5 million in San Francisco, I guess you get a whole entire skyscraper. Once the West Coast crown jewel, San Francisco's real estate market is crashing down. And guys, nobody really wants to buy San Francisco real estate. I think it really boils down to the point that it's just not a safe place to be. Even the JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon is comparing San Francisco's woes to those of New York City, calling the Bay Area in a far worse shape. Now, New York City is bad. They're going through a migrant crisis, spending $10 billion a year. Shoplifting is so rampant, the Westfield Mall over there actually closed down. That's how bad New York City is getting. But Jamie Dimon straight up said, yeah, the Bay Area is probably even worse. And no wonder, several of the biggest companies are leaving. Even AI companies are considering leaving. And some have already abandoned San Francisco for other parts of the Bay Area. Now, the entire Bay Area isn't all bad, but like places like Oakland is pretty bad, right? San Jose is just completely empty. It's like a ghost town. And then San Francisco, well, it basically looks like this 24/7. Empty stores, homelessness everywhere. It's not great. So this is why a lot of big corporations like this one, this AI company, is all leaving. They just can't stay here anymore. Now, look at this. We have San Francisco office woes continuing. And many of the San Francisco offices are facing massive foreclosures, including a former WeWork outpost. I mean, these are humongous buildings, high-end buildings that are now going through foreclosure. And the WeWork situation just made things worse because some of the office buildings rely most of their money and also cash flow from WeWork. But when WeWork is now going down the drain and filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy, well, these office buildings and landlords are kind of screwed, right? And entire streets are now completely empty. You could actually look into this. It's actually scary to the Gap closing, the mall closing, banks closing. It's like a ghost town. And that's thanks to the lax laws and rampant San Francisco shoplifting. And look at San Francisco. Look at the Walgreens. It's so bad they got to hire security guards. And instead of having glass doors and windows, you might as well just board them up with plywood. Because this is what it looks like in San Francisco. It's cheaper. It's easier if they just board everything up because the windows are just going to be broken in anyway. From vandalism, from people just throwing stuff out the window, and people want to rob the store. It's easier, it's frankly safer, and way cheaper just to board everything up. Look at this. All the items that are just slightly more expensive like underwear are locked behind glass shelves, 2 to 3 security guards, a lot of surveillance cameras, and even the doors are boarded up. That is a San Francisco for you. And you kind of understand why entire buildings like these are selling for such an enormous discount. And despite big discounts like these, many people refuse to buy.